Since the beginning of human life, there has been a silent force shaping the body, behavior, and even the way men experience the world. That force is testosterone. Far beyond being just a hormone, it is one of the pillars of male biology, influencing everything from fetal development to aging. But what exactly is testosterone, and why does it become even more important as the years go by? To understand this, we need to go back to the beginning. Testosterone is a steroid hormone produced mainly in the testicles, specifically in the Leydig cells. Its production is controlled by a highly sophisticated system called the hypothalamic pituitary axis. Everything starts in the brain. The hypothalamus releases a hormone called GnRH. This hormone stimulates the pituitary gland to release LH, and it is LH that ultimately signals the testicles to produce testosterone. This system works like a thermostat. If levels are low, production increases. If levels are high, production decreases. It is a delicate balance and essential. During childhood, testosterone levels are low, but everything changes during puberty. This is when testosterone begins to act intensely. It promotes muscle growth, increases bone density, deepens the voice, stimulates hair growth, and awakens sexual desire. Basically, it transforms the body of a boy into that of a man. But its effects do not stop there. Testosterone also influences the brain. It is linked to motivation, energy, confidence, and even decision-making ability. Men with adequate testosterone levels tend to have more drive, more focus, and greater resistance to stress. On the other hand, when these levels drop, the effects can be profound, and that is exactly what happens with aging. Starting around the age of 30, testosterone begins to decline gradually, about 1% per year. It may seem small, but over the decades, this decline accumulates and the signs begin to appear. Constant fatigue, loss of muscle mass, increase in abdominal fat, reduced libido, difficulty with erections, mood changes, and even memory loss. This condition is known as latent male hypogonadism, and although it is common, it should not be ignored, because testosterone does not only affect quality of life, it is also deeply linked to health. Low levels are associated with a higher risk of cardiovascular diseases, type 2 diabetes, metabolic syndrome, and even increased mortality. On the other hand, adequate levels act as a protective factor. They help maintain an active metabolism, improve insulin sensitivity, and contribute to heart health. But there is an important point: not every drop in testosterone is the same. And not every man with symptoms has a true deficiency. That is why diagnosis must be careful. It involves not only laboratory tests, but also clinical evaluation. Testosterone levels vary throughout the day, being higher in the morning. That is why tests should be done during this period. In addition, it is important to evaluate free testosterone, which is the biologically active fraction, and consider factors such as obesity, stress, and chronic diseases. All of these can interfere with hormonal levels. Once the diagnosis is confirmed, the most important question arises: is it possible to treat it? The answer is yes. Testosterone replacement therapy can bring significant benefits, but it must be done responsibly when properly indicated. It can improve libido, increase muscle mass, reduce body fat, improve mood, increase energy, and restore quality of life, especially in men over 60, where hormonal decline is more pronounced. In this context, testosterone can represent a true turning point, including in sexual life. With adequate levels, sexual desire tends to increase, erectile response improves, and overall satisfaction with intimate life also grows. But it is important to understand that testosterone does not act alone. An erection, for example, also depends on blood circulation, vascular health, and emotional balance. In other words, it is an important piece, but not the only one. Another fundamental point is the risks. Testosterone replacement is not for everyone. It may stimulate prostate growth. Therefore, men with untreated prostate cancer should avoid therapy. In addition, it is necessary to monitor hematocrit because testosterone can increase red blood cell production and in some cases raise the risk of thrombosis. That is why medical supervision is essential. But there is something even more important that is often overlooked. Lifestyle. Even before considering replacement, it is possible to naturally optimize testosterone levels. Sleeping well is one of the most important factors. A large part of hormone production occurs during deep sleep. Nutrition also plays a crucial role. Diets rich in protein, healthy fats, and micronutrients support hormone production, while excess sugar and ultra-processed foods have the opposite effect. Physical exercise, especially strength training, is one of the most powerful stimuli for increasing testosterone. In addition, it helps reduce body fat, which is directly linked to hormonal decline. Stress is another silent enemy. High levels of cortisol inhibit testosterone production. That is why managing stress is not just a mental issue, but also a hormonal one. And so we reach an important conclusion. Testosterone is not just a sexual hormone. It is a marker of vitality, of health, of longevity. It influences the body, the mind, and the way a man experiences every stage of life. Understanding its importance is the first step. Taking care of it is the second, and doing so consciously can completely transform the experience of aging. Because aging does not have to mean losing energy, losing desire, or losing quality of life. With the right knowledge and the right decisions, it is possible to maintain strength, clarity, and vitality, even after the age of 60, and perhaps that is the true meaning of testosterone, not just a hormone, but a bridge between a body that ages and a life that continues.
Life pulled us apart, left me talking to the dark. If I called you tonight, would it feel the same? Or have we both moved on to different